Hi dear friends, dear students, welcome to Gallant IAS. And today we will discuss what is the syllabus of history optional. This is the first fundamental thing we should know. Before getting to history optional, we must know what is the demand of the syllabus. Let's have a look into the syllabus of history optional, paper by paper, section by section. Paper 1, section A. This is ancient India. Obviously, you have to study ancient India here. Ancient India, it's very, very important for your prelims also. Its art and culture part is important for your mains examination. So, the first question always in paper 1 section A, which is map based question. They will be giving you 20 sites. In the map, you have to identify the site and you have to give short description for each. Now here, each site carries 2.5 marks, total is 50 marks. So one of the easiest scoring area in paper 1, you can very easily score the 50 marks from the mapping. This year also, 2019 also, map based questions they asked. Around 14 to 15 questions were directly from what we solved in the sessions. So this is one of the sure shot like answer or maybe area. Let me tell you, 20 sites will be there, 14 to 15 aram se. Very easily you can solve 14 to 15 sites. Okay, that is minimum guarantee. So the first question is 50 marks questions, which is map based questions. Second, and the second question onwards, you will get to the questions, you will get the questions from this ancient India. Just to see the syllabus, the modules of ancient India, sources, different sources like inscriptional sources or the numismatics, the study of the coinage, archaeological sources, literary sources, religious and secular literary sources, foreigners accounts, different sources which is equally important for your prelims also. Prehistoric and proto-historic India, Indus Valley civilization, megalithic culture, Adyens and Vedic era, then Mahajanpadas, Maurya, post-Maurya, early states in Eastern India, Deccan, South India, which is Sangam literature, Sangam society, Gupta's regional states during Gupta, themes in early Indian history. So when it is 12 modules means definitely out of the 12 modules, 10 modules you have to study for your prelims itself. You have to study for the prelims itself. Only 2 modules are additional modules from your prelims point of view. Okay. So our approach always has to be mains approach that will save you in your prelims also. Prelims is not fact-based questions. Prelims is analytical questions or maybe conceptual questions they ask in the prelims also. So study of the ancient India from optional point of view means you can solve around 6 to 8 questions from this ancient India in your prelims examination. Coming to medieval India, paper 1 section B is section B, which is medieval India. When it comes to medieval India, let's have a look into the modules. Total 11 modules are there. Early medieval India, cultural traditions during that time, 13th century, society, culture, economy in 13th, 14th centuries, 15th and 16th century, then this early 16th century, Akbar, Mughal Empire in 17th century, economic social history in the 17th century, culture in Mughal Empire, 18th century. When they say century, don't be confused. The same modules which you study for prelims, exactly the same modules they are asking in optional also. Early medieval India you study for your prelims. Imperial Cholas you study, Rajput dynasties you study, Vijayanagara Empire you study, or Bahmani Sultanate you study, Delhi Sultanate you study, then this Mughal emperors, their chronology, different rulers and their reforms that you study, their socio-economic cultural history you study, the status of women, caste system, or about the taxation system, judiciary system, etc. you study, and the art and culture part also you study. Okay, South Indian history, Sangam history also you study. So all these things you study in the prelims, same things, bit more detail we study from optional point of view, equally advantages for solving your questions in GS1 and in your prelims examination. So this is the modules from medieval India. Modern India, exactly it is synchronizing with your GS syllabus and your prelim syllabus. Okay, European penetration into India, British expansion in India, early structure of the British Raj, which is colonialism, economic impact of British colonial rule, okay, colonialism, its implications, early structure, the rule, their administration, socio-cultural developments, socio-religious reform movements in Bengal and other areas, Indian response to British rule, factors leading to birth of Indian nationalism, rise of Gandhi, constitutional developments, then other strands in national movement, politics of separatism, consolidation as a nation, caste and ethnicity after 1947, economic development and political change. Both modern India and post-independence we study here, and definitely this is equally similar to your GS syllabus. Okay, GS syllabus. So definitely this is what you have to study for modern India. Modern India is very, very important for your prelims. More than 10 questions every year they are asking from this modern India in the prelims examination. Minimum 3 to 4 questions they are asking from modern India in the GS1 mains examination. Okay. So the same questions, modern India, they ask questions in ethics also, in GS2 also. Okay. So this is one of the very important part of your history optional preparation and one of the very easiest area. Equally it is important for prelims and your GS mains papers. Okay. World history, enlightenment and modern ideas, Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, main philosophers and their ideologies, ideas. Origins of modern politics, okay, American Revolution is there, American Civil War is there, French Revolution is there, okay, industrialization, nation-state system, unification of Germany, unification of Italy, then nation buildings in Europe, imperialism, colonialism, revolution, counter-revolution, World War I, World War II, its causes, consequences, liberation from colonial rule, that is decolonization, then unification of Europe, disintegration of Soviet Union, and rise of this USA as a unipolar world. Okay, so let me tell you, this is exactly the same modules you study for your GS1 world history part. Okay, so we study in detail, that is important. So this is not, I am saying, this is not something heavy syllabus. In fact, when it comes to GS preparation, many of these modules you already study in GS preparation in such a way that history optional is very easy and very quickly you can finish it, and you can do justice to your prelims and GS preparations, because there is no extra burden, there is no additional time required for spending more time for optional, because many of these modules you already study in your GS, so very easily you can revise, very easily you can finish it off. These were, I have given you some selective site only. In this way, outline map of India, they will be giving some sites. You have to locate the site and you have to give a short description in 1 or 2 lines. Okay. So I have given you 12 sites here, 20 sites they asked. I selected 12 because all the 12s are directly from our classes. Even more also there. But I want to say that all these are very easy questions they asked. Early Harappan site Banavali, ancient seaport Muziris, Stone Age Chopanimundo, archaeological site Rubar, and capital site Kaushambi, ancient capital Ujjain, Harappan site Lothal, ancient inscription Junagadh, Tanjavur, it's a temple city, Amravati, it's an art center, Hathigumba, it's an inscriptional site, Nalanda educational site. So very few words you give them to describe. In fact, we cover something around 350 to 400 sites in our classes itself. Okay? An easy area. Just look into the questions. Simply, I want to tell you that, I simply want to communicate to you the message that many of these questions are from our previous year's questions only. They are repeated from previous years. That is biggest advantage of history optional. If you studied it thoroughly, if you revised last 30 years, previous year's questions, you can easily answer any questions in paper 1 or paper 2. And many of such questions we already put in our full test and this sectional test. Okay, in our history optional full test and a sectional test, we put many of such questions. You can see archaeological evidence often helps in better understanding of literary sources. Examine transformation of Varna system from Rigvedic to later times. Then no literary sources for Harappan culture, no archaeological evidence for Vedic. Explain how Ashoka used religion as a political tool and Dhamma as his diplomatic strategy. Economic measures of Alauddin Khilji. Then Vijayanagara Empire, how it became cultural capital of the south. Philosophy of Shankaracharya. Shivaji not military conqueror and he was an enlightened ruler. So easy questions we already done and these are repeated questions. That is an advantage. Tipu Sultan, two important intellectual criteria which formed these reform movements of 19th century: rationalism, religious universalism. Then examine the forces at work for introduction of Western education, Swadeshi movement, Government of India Act 1935, Quit India spontaneous revolution. Just to see, all these are repeated questions about Subhash Chandra Bose and his role in freedom struggle, or this war of 1914-18 and its consequences, or about this process of deindustrialization in Europe, or British colonial intervention in Malay in 19th century. Just to see all the questions, either they are repeated questions or they are being already asked in our model test or mock test or full test. So this is an advantage. You can easily finish it off. So always have an idea what all the things you have to study for history optional in paper 1 and paper 2, or in ancient India or medieval India or modern India or world history. Get an idea what you have to study. Okay, this is one of the, I would say this is one of the very easiest optionals. Definitely, if you follow the line, if you follow the strategy, and if you work on regular basis, definitely you can score 300 plus in this history optional. Okay, so please subscribe the channel for more videos. And if you wish to take history as your optional, or further if you have any concerns, any doubts regarding this optional, definitely you feel free to contact us. Okay, and you can contact via the contact numbers given here or the mail given here. Okay, thank you.